this normally wouldn't be the top story, but since we spent so much time talking about it when we opened the show, talking about Navigeddon and cars that kind of have a mind of their own, very sad story. A North Carolina family is mourning the loss of a husband and father of 2 young kids who died when his GPS directed him to a bridge that hadn't been there since 2013.
In Ukraine?
No, here, North Carolina. 47-year-old Phil Paxson was heading home late at night after his daughter's birthday party, followed the GPS directions down a concrete road to a bridge, which had actually been washed away in a flood 9 years ago, never replaced. There were no warning signs, no barricades, and Paxson drove over the edge and into the creek. Apparently
Feels
not.
like an oversight.
Yeah, state troopers found him inside the vehicle. It had flipped over. It was submerged.
Wait, was he with his kids, did you say?
He was driving back from a birthday party. It doesn't say that anyone else was in the car. I think it was just him.
That's good.
His wife, Alicia, called the accident obviously an avoidable tragedy, wants someone held responsible. The North Carolina State Patrol says the bridge was not controlled by the state or local officials, and a private property management company is likely responsible. So,
somebody's
kick
getting
that can
sued,
around.
Right? Yeah. I had wasn't quite as harrowing, but when I tried to get up to Sid Croft's house on the very top of Hollywood Mountain off a mole hole.
Metaphorically or literally?
I did the whole Waze thing. I had spun around, and at some point they just went, fuck it. But I did, by happenstance, drove past the old house I worked on that used to be across the street from Jay Leno's house back in my early 20s when I first met Jay Leno
in total disrepair
as a young carpenter, and decided that's the life for me because I didn't watch him do I wasn't inspired by Jay Leno's comedy. I was inspired by his schedule. So we'd have to show up at 7, and I was mixing stucco by 7:15, and we're doing demo and stuff, and I would just see Jay leave his house directly across the street, like I was up on scaffolding, and he'd walk out at noon, his bathrobe, get the newspaper, and go back into his house. And then at 2, he'd go out to his garage and monkey around with his vintage motorcycles. And I went, whatever this schedule is,
it's good living.
This is a good schedule to have.
Yeah.
That was like my schedule. I hated getting up in the morning for school, and I realized that when I became a fighter, I could make my own hours. So my hours started at 12 in the afternoon.
Oh, I love that.
And I've been doing it for 25 years until I had kids. And then I had to get up in the morning, make sure they get to school and so forth. And then I go back to sleep, and I wake up when they get off of school. I go train.
But you never hear about that from fighters. It's always like 4 a.m. Got to be up with
road work at dawn.
So here's my reason behind that. And it's very, correct for my type of fighting or my mentality of fighting. I don't fight until 9 o'clock at night. So if I woke up at 6 in the morning and ran my 4 miles, then I go spar at 12 in the afternoon. Then I do my weight training, 6, 7 o'clock. I'm ready to go to bed at 8 o'clock at night. Now, if I switch it around where I get up at 12, I go do my road work at 1, I go do my sparring at 3, I go do my wrestling jiu-jitsu at 6, I go do my weight training at 10 p.m., get done by midnight, then I sleep. And I sleep 14 hours a day already. Over the last couple weeks I haven't because of the situations I've been in, but I sleep. And I do it because I recover my body completely. Getting that sleep like that is just like regenerating my body. I feel like Wolverine completely by doing that.
I feel the same. I feel the same way about comedy, which is like I did comedy or Loveline for 10 years, 10 to midnight, and then switched to mornings. And it's like, look, it's 6:15. I'm pissed. I'm not funny. I know who's funny at 6:15 in the morning. What nightclub opens at 6 in the morning? Try good luck getting Jeff Ross somewhere before 3 in the afternoon.
Well, we tried.
Yeah, you
several times.
You can't do it. There are times. I used to say all the time, look, I love a steak and a martini, but not at 7:07 in the morning. You know what I mean? Comedy. They never really talk about, but trying to do funny morning shows, if you're a night person, and most comedians by nature are night people, that's what draws them into it. It's an uphill climb.
Yeah, makes sense.
And you're right. Switch your schedule because you would fight at like 9 p.m. Right?
Yeah. So at that time, I'm at my most awake time of the day. It's like I'm on point at that time. And people don't really understand that. But let me tell you, when I was in school, I used to hate it. My senior year, when I was at Huntington Beach High, I had a conversation with the principal, and I said, if I get my grades up and get B average is there any possible way I can get in here at second period? Because usually people go at lunchtime and they go home for fifth period. And I made the deal with the principal, and he said, okay. And I was able to come to second period. So I did second, third, fourth, fifth, and then I wrestled on sixth. So it helped out a lot for me because I finished at a 3.75 GPA. And in my freshman year, I had a 1.7. So
Yeah.
What a comeback.
In a world where, we used to just stuff everyone into the same box. Kids got to start at 8 a.m. and stuff. Like, people have just different cycles. Howard Stern famously goes to bed at 8.
Yeah.
And he just does.
Yeah.
He would anyway. If I've been out to dinner with him
at 4.
You have to have dinner with him at 4:30 in the afternoon because he's going to bed at 8. That's his cycle.
Yeah.
But that's not my cycle.
No.
It's not Tito's
No.
cycle. And kids are all different. I was never that person. Some people are. Could we make some adjustment for those people?
Our high school started at 7:40. 7:40. And I could never, I was always envious of the girls that came with wet hair because you got up early enough to shower in the morning.
Yes.
It's insane.
And they're all, by the way, the studies now that just come out,
it's backwards.
teenagers, boys and girls, they need to just sleep. They just sleep
they're
for
growing.
13 hours a day.
yes, they're growing 100%.
Well, we talked a little bit about Kanye, but let's talk about the latest stuff.
But why do we have to connect sleep to lazy? Do you know what I mean? Like,
did
get
until-
up, come on, lazy bones.
Until
I'm
5 minutes ago.
fucking growing up and circadian rhythms are telling me to fucking keep my eyes closed. Now shut up.
Getting your booty sleep.
Yeah, it's like, why is it so close? I've been fighting my uphill nap battle my whole life. I want to take a nap. Really? You need a nap or you just want a nap? I don't know. I like naps. Oh, it's so lazy. Other people are working. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I like a nap.
I like
so
a nap
fucking
too.
shoot me.
Amen.
Right.
Well, a week after Kanye received attention at the Paris Fashion Week for wearing his White Lives Matter shirt, he was quickly at it again, this time with some anti-Semitic almost observations on social media. So he likes to be called Ye now, so we'll do that. Took to Twitter Saturday night and posted, "I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going to DEFCON 3 on, in all caps, Jewish people. You guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who ever opposes your agenda." That tweet was removed by Twitter, which locked his account due to a violation of their policies. But before the Twitter outburst,
Could be construed as a threat.
he ran into trouble on Instagram, where he broke the rules by posting what appeared to be a text conversation with Sean Combs, in which he expressed an anti-Semitic stereotype by suggesting that Diddy was controlled by the Jews. Not everyone's a fan of this. I could, again, take it or leave it. I'm not afraid of fucking Kanye or any of these idiots. But Michael Rappaport quickly jumped online, as he does, to respond to Kanye. Here's what he had to say.
Oh, it's video.
Yeah.
Nice.
Kooky Kanye West. What are you talking about, DEFCON 1?
Oh, he's got the Star David
DEFCON
out.
2. See, Jews, we know about DEFCON 3, DEFCON 4. You're not doing DEFCON anything. With the Jews, we know about that. DEFCON 5, 6 million. We know all about that. You're working on the design for the new Yeezy Jewish space lasers. You're on some Marjorie Taylor Greene, Charlottesville. The Jews will not replace us. I defended you. Prick, you dusty prick. You look dusty. That's never going to be fashionably acceptable.
I think it's ashy.
Get the dust out of your beard. Take a shower, okay? I don't care what you're on or what you're not on. Take a shower. I was there. I defended you when Pistol Pete Davidson was sugar dicking your wife. But this is unacceptable, okay? You creep, you. And you're not going to be president. I know you think you're going to manifest things. You're never. I'm going to be the one to tell you to break the heart of your dream. You're never going to be president. You prick, you.
I
Wow.
fucking love that guy.
Did any of that come up on Tucker about how the Jews will not replace Kanye?
No,
Okay.
I got a text. I found that text. No, he seemed he didn't get into the Jews. He got a little nutty, but not very much. He did do the one thing that nutty people do and old timers do, which is reference people's names that nobody's heard of in a
And
casual.
stop the conversation to
No,
come
just
up
in
with
a, like it just you're just
Offhand.
referencing people like Tucker Carlson knows the head of the Yeezy design and development, whatever. He doesn't. There's no crazy people do a little. They reference stuff that
Kids
nobody
do it.
kids do it. Right?
Everyone,
Kids are
we
like
all,
crazy
of course,
people.
yeah. You know my best friend. Everybody does.
Yes.
Yeah. So we don't. I was bated breath. I started following him to find out what the beef was with the Jays, but they pulled him off Twitter. So I guess we'll never know.
Not in time to explain.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll find out what the beef is, what the brisket
Yeah,
is.
watch. Well, he didn't. I don't think he mentioned the Jews. He probably thought Tucker was Jewish. I don't know.
Well, to Tucker's credit, I don't think Tucker would have let him get away
Probably
with
would have
that.
had to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote him great job with Kanye. So masterful. It was a great interview. And he wrote, thanks a million. High praise from you. Because Tucker's nice. He'll always give a compliment from the
Tucker's
person
a good
to give
guy.
a compliment.
He's one of the good ones.
Kanye was about twice as interesting as I'd expected. And I said, yeah.
Buy that.
And then I said, you in L.A. or heading back? And he said, I'm in Maine with my dogs in bed. And then I said, nighty.
Hot.
I said, nighty night. And he said, thanks, man. It's
Sweet
40.
dreams.
It's 40 degrees here.
You said nighty night.
I said,
Two grown men having this
he
conversation.
said he's in bed with his dogs. I can't just leave him
Time and
hanging.
place.
Right.
Can I just say how boring it is for people to continue to scapegoat Jews?
Oh,
Isn't
my
it
God.
I'm not afraid. I'm bored by it. Like, why? Why does this keep happening?
Well,
Divide.
Jews are successful.
It's horrible.
And we're living in a day and age where anyone who's successful gets kind of rich white guy, just rich is, and Jews, look, okay, let's see. I'll give a theory. Jews do what I tell everyone to do, family and education, and then they go out and have success. And then a lot of envy's a big thing. And a lot of people look at them and go, why do they, because they do the shit you should be doing, but your family's fucked up and you don't do that. And you burn lots of calories pointing at other people that are successful
The
and want to
best
know
one ever is
what's wrong
it
with them.
Must be nice to be you. People don't understand the sacrifices.
What it
and
took to be you.
What it took to be that
And
person.
then the Jews,
it's
they also take care of business. Like they care about family and education, and then they do a lot of nepotism, like my son's going to take over the business or my daughter's going to whatever. Armos do a certain amount of that. Now, the Jews versus the Asians do the same thing, but they don't
They're
want
quiet.
they don't want the Jew spotlight. They don't want that fucking target on their
They don't want
back.
the
So
space
they're
laser.
very like, just fucking keep it down. Do all
Down
the
and
same shit the
succeed.
Jews are doing, but don't be the face of the company and don't get out there in front of people and blah blah blah. So they're basically quietly doing it.
Got it.
Doing that. Thanks.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll find out what the problem is. Madonna, God love her, and you're going to see video, and that's all I'm going to say about that to warn you. She seems to maybe have come out of the closet. In a TikTok video with the caption, "If I miss, I'm gay," she throws a pair of panties to a trash can, but misses by a wide margin. Then she shrugs it off and walks away. We're watching the video. Many fans took it as her announcing that she's gay, or maybe she's bi. She kissed Britney Spears, she kissed Christina Aguilera, she was married to Guy Ritchie or Sean Penn.
You tell me you guys haven't figured this out yet?
Well, I
How
want
many
you
years
to,
has this been going on?
I
You
know
haven't
this
figured
is
it out?
just for us in studio, but I want you to take a look at the video again.
Where's the eyebrows?
That's just so much of it. I have questions. What are we doing?
She's going baddie.
Yes.
She should get together with Kanye.
Oh my God.
I
The
can't believe
world's
it hasn't happened.
craziest,
That'd be amazing.
most successful offspring ever.
Did she ever have a thing with Rodman, or was that just
Yes.
electric? Oh, okay.
Yes, she did.
I didn't know if that was just common.
She's
No.
Seiko, Rodman, all the greats.
That's how Rodman got his old gimmick of changing his hair and doing the drag stuff, and all that was from her.
That I buy.
So I was kind of thinking about her, which is, fresh off the heels of watching, you go, watching the doc. So like Thomas Hearns, he's not the man he was. He suffered a lot of injuries and been concussed a lot, and his speech is bad and blah, blah, blah. And then you go, it's just hard to quit the game. You're used to the fans and the crowd and the getting your hand, they all just
That's all
say,
you know.
getting your hand raised is the greatest. I mean, these guys,
There's no adrenaline rush like it.
after those fights,
I have so many people coming up to me and going, Tito, how is it fighting in front of millions of people? And I was like, skydiving. I don't know if anybody that has inhaled nitrous before, a mixture of all that together.
Yeah. How do you get off that? How do you get away from that? Yeah. And especially, okay. So now you're Madonna and slightly less than half of the world's occupants want to fuck you all day, every day. And that's a part of your world for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like every man on the planet desires me except for a handful of gay guys who are my backup dancers.
Sure.
And then at some point, it starts to grow away. You know what I mean? It just starts to drift away. And now your average guy'd be with the 23-year-old hostess at Applebee's versus if she was a hottie.
Sure.
Versus Madonna.
But when you get to that point, you start to see them chase it. And it's hard.
It's irrelevant.
Right. And then it gets sad, like the fighter way past his prime in there trying to. Now it's getting beat up by the tomato can. So that's what we got to. That's where Madonna is.
That's right. Let's talk quickly about a hacking situation in Iran that I think is giving a lot of people the energy boost that they need during all of the protests. Iran's state-run television channel was interrupted Saturday during a news segment after activists hacked into the network, airing a message of support for the ongoing demonstrations across the country. And I'll show you in a minute. The clip included the message "Women, Life, Freedom," and that's sort of become the mantra in every language, along with an image of Khomeini overlaid with crosshairs and flames. So here's what it looked like. Women, life, freedom. And they're showing women in the crawl. So not a message of not a lot of gray area in that message. The interruption came as we've talked about protests across the country sparked by the death of this 22-year-old girl, Mahsa Amini. She was detained for allegedly violating hijab requirements, which I guess is a major gray area. It sounds like a lot of women are used to getting pulled into the morality police come and take them away because some hair was showing, whatever. This has entered its fourth week. Iranian officials claimed Friday that Amini died from a long-standing illness, nothing to do with, beatings. So far, at least 185 people have been killed, 1,500 arrested, and now they're hacking in and showing that they're still around.
What happened to that Arab Spring a few years ago when we were going to turn this whole thing around?
That was all thanks to Twitter.
I think, unfortunately, if people are going to buy into a religion that believes in most of this crap, we're going to have a difficult time turning places around. Little flare-ups.
No, you're right. But what about those pictures you see of like Lebanon 1960 and it's like the most fashionable women in bikinis? Like it was all good for a while.
Yeah, I think like Beirut was really nice.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. I don't know. All I can say is it's 2022. Here we are. Wars, human trafficking, smuggling,
politicians
women.
Are taking over.
Yeah,
it's the wrong
ones. I can't believe it's still a shit show.
As Adam often says, what year is this?
What year is it that this is all this shit is still going on? I will say that I think the ladies from the westernized worlds need to do a little more judging. I know, Madonna's the spearhead of the Million Women's March in Washington, D.C. Trump got elected, blah, blah, blah. Fine, you hate Trump, but you're not going to get thrown off a building, and no one's going to be, tortured because they're gay or whatever. You hate him, but okay. I'd say women of the world...
Turn your attention outward.
Focus on some real atrocities that are taking place in other cultures. And do not be scared to judge.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think they are now. And that's the thing that, like, when people say, what does it matter if you changed your Facebook thing? Who cares? But what it seems like a lot of the women in Iran are asking is like, do that. Keep this in the news. Keep the ball in the air. Don't forget about us. We're doing this. I'm like, well, that's easy enough.
Yeah.
Keep it in the news. Okay. This is a really sort of interesting story that I feel is going to be optioned for a movie, at least a miniseries. There's this teenage girl in Ukraine, and she's figured out a way to use a dating app to help fight against the Russians. And I mean, this just has movie of the week all over it. So this girl who uses the name Lisa was forced out of her home by the invading Russian army, and she's been getting her revenge ever since by flirting with these young enemy soldiers. She set up a fake profile on an app and claims to be a Russian girl living in the Ukrainian city of Kherson.
They did this in Red Dawn.
No,
Come on,
so this
man.
is an old story.
They sent the chicks out to go attract the Russian soldiers, and they started chasing them through the field, and they popped up through trap doors.
This is correct.
Okay,
Guns
you know what?
firing.
You know what? Yes.
They already made a movie.
So she's been inundated with photos and videos and like voicemails from these Russian soldiers, a lot of them who are giving up their locations. And then Lisa passes that information over to the Ukrainian military, and they've been able to find them in buildings, a base, a mansion where a top Russian officer has been living. Lisa says she has no remorse for what she's doing. She says they're all criminals because they crossed another country's border with weapons. So she's luring them and finding out their GPS location.
Basement of a burnt-out hospital.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Pretty interesting.
Ingenious.
We have time for one more.
Yeah, we were talking about cheating earlier. She seems like a catch, after the war and everything,
Sure.
but you don't want someone with these kind of mad computer skills
Oh, yeah.
and a super suspicious mind. You don't want to hook up with her.
Absolutely.
She'll tap in your phone. She'll know exactly where it is.
If you're an honest man, you have nothing to worry about.
Thank you.
Well put, Tio.
It's
Okay.
true. I mean, I want to look in the mirror and be
Right.
responsible for my actions and saying I'm a responsible man that does the right thing always.
Eat it, Adam.
No, I'm going to go buy a generator and take it to Florida. Never cheat.
I'm
Okay,
writing a
we
book.
get it.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I mean, we're all alpha males at one time or another, and we're supposed to be
Not all
able
of
to
us.
conquer. And sometimes you just got to realize that you got a good woman. So keep her on your side because those are the ones you guys got to go home
Well,
to.
if you were
say
going to
love
let
you,
me
take care.
finish, that's why I was going to end that thought. But
I thought I'd
cut
get it
me
before you
off.
say it. I'm sorry.
Your sanctimonious speech. All right, let's bring it home, Gina
You
Grad.
got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Manly, yes, but I like it too.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
Freedom Fight Night 3 is coming up. You can get your tickets, or you can also stream it on YouTube pay-per-view. November 4th, Tito's going to be there. Our friend Frank Mir, who we just love, is going to be there. Quentin Rampage Jackson, who I don't think I know very well. But
Rampage is a character. He's awesome. I've known him for over, 22 years now.
he was pretty devastating in his prime, as I recall, in the UFC. And of
UFC
course,
champ.
A-Team.
That's
18,
right.
yep.
Baracus.
That's right. And you can shoot him a tweet. That is at Tito Ortiz. And
Instagram is Tito Ortiz IG.
And that's where you
Tito.
can donate.
Yes, that's where they could donate. It's on my front page right there. And of course,
Ortiz.
this for Freedom Fight Night will be at the Arizona Financial Theater in downtown Phoenix on November 4th. Of course, you can go to Ticketmaster for your tickets. This will be a great night of fights. It'll be amazing.
all right. Thanks, Tito. Always great to see you. Always great to
As
catch
always,
up with you.
thank you for having me.
San Diego Mic Drop Comedy Club coming up October 28th and 29th. Live shows there and stand-up and podcasts as well. Go to AdamCarolla.com for all the live shows. Until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Tito and Gina Grad and Bald Brian saying mahalo.